3 nights after the event they called a miracle, Jesus gathered his inner circle in the shadowed corner of the temple courtyard. The air was thick with questions that none of them dared to ask aloud. They had seen the man who could not walk suddenly stand. They had seen the laws of physics, the laws of the material realm, bend and break as if they were nothing more than smoke. And behind their silence lay a terrifying frustration, because they had tried to do it themselves. They had laid hands, they had spoken prayers, they had begged the sky for intervention, and nothing had happened. The flesh remained withered, the bone remained broken. They felt like children playing at a game they did not understand. But when Jesus spoke, reality obeyed. Not eventually, instantly. And in that heavy silence, preserved in the fragments of the Pistis Sophia, a text the church spent 2,000 years trying to burn, trying to bury, trying to erase from your memory, he finally told them why. He looked at them, his eyes piercing through the veil of their confusion, and he said the words that would dismantle every religious power structure for the next 2 millennia. He did not say, "Because I am the Son of God and you are not." He did not say, "Because I am holy and you are sinful." He said something far more dangerous. He said, "I am speaking with the Logos, and you are still speaking with the tongue of the flesh." He revealed that every miracle he performed was not a divine intervention from a distant deity. It was a technique, a precise mechanical vibrational alignment that he was demonstrating so that you could replicate it. But you have forgotten. You were made to forget. If you are listening to this transmission, it is not an accident. The algorithm did not choose this for you. The monad did. You are here because the frequency of your soul has reached a threshold where the lie can no longer contain you. You are here because you are a pneumatic, a carrier of the divine spark, and you have felt it your entire life. A dormant power, a sleeping giant in your chest waiting for the command to awaken. The church told you the Word was a book. They told you the Logos was Scripture. This was the greatest misdirection in human history. The Logos is not a book. It is not ink on a page. It is not language as you understand it. The Logos is the organizing frequency of the universe. It is the primordial vibration that existed before the Archons built this cage. It is the sound the monad made when it decided to bring order to chaos. The Greeks knew it, the Gnostics protected it, and the rulers of this world fear it more than anything else. Because when you learn to speak with the Logos, when you bypass the thinking mind and activate that frequency, the Archons cannot stop you. Not because they do not want to, but because they physically cannot. It operates at a bandwidth they cannot touch. Tonight, we return to the source. Tonight, we unlock the technique that Jesus taught in the shadows. Tonight, you remember how to speak. To understand the technique, you must first understand the physics of the prison you are in. The Gnostic texts describe the Logos as the first emanation from the monad, the infinite, undifferentiated source consciousness. Before anything existed, before matter, before time, before the demiurge enslaved this realm, there was only pure potential, unformed chaos, no structure, no separation. And then, consciousness vibrated. It did not think, it did not plan, it resonated. And that vibration, that specific holy frequency carried within it the code for perfect order. It hit the chaos, and the chaos had no choice but to organize. You have seen this in your own world. You have seen the experiments where sand on a metal plate organizes into complex, sacred geometric patterns when a sound frequency is played through it. The sand does not choose to move. The sand does not have to be convinced. The frequency speaks, and the matter obeys. That is the Logos. It is the command code of reality itself. And here is the secret they kept from you. You are not separate from that frequency. You are made of it. The spark within you, the pneumatic fragment that distinguishes the chosen ones from the hylic background noise, is a piece of the Logos. It is dormant. It is buried under layers of conditioning, under the trauma of the body, under the constant, screaming noise of the Archon broadcast. But it is there. And the moment you learn to access it, the moment you align your voice with that internal frequency, you stop asking reality for permission. You stop begging a counterfeit God for favors. You start reorganizing the chaos around you. The demiurge, the false architect of this material simulation, knows about the Logos. He cannot create. He can only copy. So he built a counterfeit version. He took the principle of organization and he twisted it into control. He took the frequency of life and he distorted it into limitation. He built a system of language, of law, of religious dogma, designed to keep you trapping yourself with your own words. Most people, the uninitiated, are operating with his version of the software. They speak words that have no power because they are aligned with the prison warden's rules. They speak from fear. They speak from lack. They speak from hope, which is just another form of doubt. And because their frequency is low, because it is aligned with the density of this realm, the Archons can intercept it. They can block it. They can feed on the emotional energy of your desperate prayers. But when you access the true Logos, when you drop into the silence and align with the frequency that comes from the pleroma, from beyond the dome of this sky, you are no longer playing by his rules. You are speaking with a power he can imitate, but never control. This is the technique. Listen closely. This is not a metaphor. This is not a philosophy. This is a mechanical operation of consciousness. The first thing you must understand is that the Logos does not live in your head. It does not live in the brain. The brain is an archonic receiver. It is the generator of the chatter, the planning, the analyzing, the worrying. It is the voice that never stops narrated your suffering. That voice is not you. That voice is the parasite. The Logos lives deeper. It lives in the place the Gnostics called the heart center. Not the physical organ pumping blood, but the energetic center of knowing in the middle of the chest. The seat of the monad. So the first step is silence. Not a forced silence where you are fighting your thoughts, gritting your teeth, trying to stop the noise. That only feeds it. This is a natural silence. You sit, you close your eyes, you soften your gaze, and you let the mental sediment settle. You stop trying to figure anything out. You stop rehearsing what you will say. You stop planning your escape. You just become present. After a minute or 2 or 10, once the mind has quieted enough that there are gaps between the thoughts, you must make the descent. You drop your awareness down from your skull, down through the throat and into the dark, vast space of your chest. Most people live their entire lives trapped in the attic of their minds, thoughts generating loops, feeding emotions, feeding the Archons. But you are leaving that room. You are descending into the sanctuary. You breathe into that space. You feel the rise and fall of the chest, and you ask a question, silently, to the void within. What am I before I am this body? What am I before I am these thoughts? Do not answer it with words. Answer it with feeling. Answer it with presence. If you stay with that inquiry, if you do not rush back to the safety of the mind, something will surface. It is subtle at first, a vibration, a hum, a sense of presence that has been watching you your entire life. It is not emotional. It is not intellectual. It is simply aware. It is the awareness that is listening to my voice right now. It was here before your name was given to you. It will be here after this body turns to dust. That is you. That is the monad fragment. That is the logos frequency. When you feel that, when you lock onto that signal clearly enough that you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that it is not imagination, that is the moment of alignment. That is the moment the channel opens. Now, you are ready to speak. Because now, you are not speaking as a confused, small human hoping for help from the sky. You are speaking as consciousness that knows what it is. And the logos responds to recognition. It responds to authority. It does not respond to begging. So you form the intention. What needs to happen? Not what do you want, what aligns with the divine truth. Maybe healing is required, maybe protection is needed, maybe a path needs to be cleared. You hold that knowing. You feel the outcome as if it has already structured itself in the invisible realm, and then you speak. Out loud, if you can, silently, if you must. But you give it form. And this is the critical key. You do not ask. You do not say, please. You do not say, if it be your will. That is supplicant language. That is slave language taught to you by the priests to keep you on your knees. You speak as a sovereign creator. This body remembers wholeness. Healing is sealed. Parasitic consciousness withdraws now. This situation aligns with truth. Order restores itself. You say it once, with absolute, cold, crystal clear certainty. And then you release it. You do not repeat it like a desperate mantra. You do not check 5 minutes later to see if it worked. You spoke with the logos. The command was issued. The frequency was transmitted. Reality is already reorganizing itself around the new instruction. The Archons are terrified of this moment. They fear the logos more than any weapon, more than any rebellion, more than any revolution. And the reason is simple physics. Frequency. The Archons exist in the lower density realms. They are creatures of the sublunar sphere. They operate on the frequencies of survival, fear, doubt, anger, despair, lust, greed, chaos. These are heavy, slow, dense vibrations. This is their food. This is their atmosphere. But the logos does not operate there. The logos operates at the frequency of the pleroma, high, fast, pure, oscillating light. When you align with the logos, when you drop into the heart and speak from that knowing, you are broadcasting on a frequency band that does not exist on their radio. It is like trying to catch a laser beam with a fishing net. It passes right through. They physically cannot touch it. They cannot block it. They cannot corrupt it. When the transmission goes out from the logos-aligned human, it bypasses their entire control grid. It goes straight to the matrix of reality and rewrites the code. They cannot stop the signal. So they try to stop the sender. They try to stop you. This is why the interference is so heavy the moment you decide to practice. Have you noticed? The moment you sit down to silence the mind, the intrusive thoughts scream louder. The moment you try to drop into the heart, a sudden crisis demands your attention. Your phone rings. A memory of shame surfaces. A wave of doubt washes over you, saying, "This is stupid. You are just talking to yourself. Nothing is real." That is not you thinking. That is the counterfeit spirit. That is the archonic implant generating static to jam the signal before you can broadcast. They are trying to make you hang up the phone before the connection is made. Ignore them. Recognize the interference for what it is. It is proof that you are close. It is proof that you are dangerous. If you were powerless, they would not bother distracting you. The fact that they are screaming means you are about to speak. Push through the static. Return to the breath. Return to the chest. Return to the knowing. And when you speak, observe what happens. The first few times the mind will say nothing happened. No lightning bolt struck, no angels appeared. And if you listen to the mind, you will quit. And if you quit, they win. But if you watch, if you pay attention with the eyes of the Spirit, you will see the shift. Reality is heavy. It takes time for the ship to turn, but the turn has begun. Synchronicities will start to explode around you. Not vague coincidences, precise mathematical alignments. You need information, and a stranger speaks it to you in a coffee shop. You face a wall, and a door appears where there was no door. You think of a person, and they call you. This is the field responding to the Logos. Coherence attracts coherence. Order attracts order. You are no longer a chaotic element bouncing around in their machine. You are a vector of divine will. And then, the purge begins. This is the part no one tells you about. When you start holding the Logos frequency, people will leave your life. Friends you have had for years, family members, partners. They will suddenly become uncomfortable around you. They will lash out, or they will simply fade away. Do not mourn this. This is physics. They are hooked into the archonic feed. They are feeding on low-density emotions, and you are not supplying the food anymore. You are vibrating at a rate that irritates their demons. Let them go. You are clearing the space for other pneumatics, other chosen ones who are waking up to find you. Like tracks, like. The monad is gathering its children. You will meet them. You will look in their eyes, and you will know. No words will be needed. The recognition will be immediate. The internal shift will follow. The mental chatter, the tyrant that has ruled your life since childhood, will begin to lose its voice. It will still be there, but it will sound distant, like a radio playing in another room. You will stop identifying with it. You will realize you are not the thinker. You are the knower. Fear will surface, but you will not become the fear. You will watch it, and it will dissolve. Doubt will knock on the door, but you will not answer. And gradually, day by day, ritual by ritual, you will start to operate from a place of unshakable power. This is the state Jesus walked in. This is the state he wanted to give you. Not a religion, a realization, a remembrance. The church buried this in the desert sands of Egypt because a human who can speak with the Logos does not need a priest. A human who can access the source code does not need a church. A human who realizes they are a fragment of the monad cannot be enslaved. They needed you weak. They needed you begging. They needed you disconnected from your own engine. But the time of their control is ending. The veil is thinning. The texts have been found. The codes are being deciphered. And you are remembering. Tonight you have a choice. You can go back to sleep. You can go back to begging a silent sky for mercy. You can go back to being a battery for the Archons. Or you can take your rightful place. You can drop into the silence. You can find the spark in the chest, and you can speak. If you are ready to reclaim your voice, if you are ready to bypass the gatekeepers and speak directly to the source, then we will seal this knowledge right now. We will lock this timeline in. There are 3 steps to the initiation. Do them now. First, leave the command in the comments below. Write these words: I am the Word. Do not just type it. Feel it as you type it. Let the Archons see it. Let the algorithm see it. Let the field record your signature. I am the Word. Second, the signal is getting stronger, but you need the daily transmission. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell. We are releasing the advanced pneumatic activation protocols in the coming weeks, and you cannot afford to miss the sequence. The war for your consciousness is accelerating. You need the armor. Third, like this video. It is not for vanity, it is for the signal. It tells the digital mind that this frequency is valid. It helps other chosen ones find the path. You are the lighthouse. Shine the light. Tonight, before you sleep, when the house is quiet, practice the descent. Sit in the dark. Ignore the mind. Find the chest. Ask the question. And when the presence rises, when the vibration hums in your sternum, speak the correction. Speak the healing. Speak the order. The Archons are watching, and for the first time in a long time, they are afraid, because you are not just human anymore. You are the Word made flesh, and nothing can stop what you are about to become. Recognize, refuse, rise.